Hey, what is up? What is good, everybody? It's your boy, Ragey Dragon, back again with another review of One Piece chapter 1002. I'll be honest, this chapter was lit as hell. It was incredibly fun to read. It was just a bundle of joy. This is definitely one of my favorite chapters. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. It starts off with a cover page, the Emperors versus the New Generation, with the cover page of Rob Lucci feeding some pigeons, which was pretty nice. Moving on from there, we go back to where we left off in chapter 1001, where you have Kaido as a dragon. He uses an attack, Destructive Wind, and everybody dodges it. Everybody just brushes it off. Law just uses his shambles and plops out of the way. Kid, he gets attacked, but only Junk got hurt, so he wasn't damaged at all. And then, oh man, the scene just that made me scream out loud. We have the GOAT, the king, the future world's greatest swordsman, Zoro, just casually just knock away one of Kaido's attacks. And that attack was pretty strong. It cut off like a small mountain on top of Onigiri. And then we have Luffy in Gear 4 immediately going to attack Kaido. And then whack, with one hell of a punch, King Kong rifle. And if it's anything like the normal Kum rifle, that means his fist was twisting. And the reason why he's calling it a rifle, because in a rifle, the lesions, how do I say lesions? It's not really the lesions. The grooves within a rifle cause a spiral that causes a bullet to spin as it leaves out of the chamber, giving it more velocity and more penetrating power. So he hits Kaido with the King Kong rifle, and then Kid grabs Kaido and just slams him with some kind of German suplex, which he calls the Gibson Slam. I just call it a German suplex, but it was lit, absolutely lit. But one thing I don't understand, I'll save that for later. Afterwards, Law uses Gamma Knife right off the bat. Remember in Doris Rosa, he used Gamma Knife as like a sort of last resort attack. It means that Law has some cards underneath his sleeve, fam. Law's gonna come out and just do something even better than Gamma Knife. And then something interesting what Kaido says afterwards. He doesn't look all that injured, oddly enough, despite all those attacks. He mentions, damn, these upstarts, so they can counter my durability. I understand for Zoro, he has Ryo. I understand for Luffy has Ryo. He probably covered his fist with some Ryo, and we saw in the panel that there was like something happening around his fist. So that could be Ryo, and we all know that Gamma Knife can cause internal attacks. I don't understand how Kid was able to harm Kaido with just an ordinary slam. Because for normal people that would hurt, but for Kaido with his durability, that shouldn't affect him in any way. But anyway, hopefully, it will be explained in the next few chapters. And then we go on to our young man, Killer. We need to put some respect on Killer's name, because I did not expect him to be able to injure Kaido, but he did, using the Sonic Scythe. I think what people should be able to get from this is the first person they think about when something about Sonic and things passing through people, it should be the Flash, because the Flash is able to vibrate his molecules to the right frequency and able to pass through objects and hard surfaces just by vibrating his molecules to the right frequency and passing through. I think that is sort of what Killer did, something like that. where he used vibrations to enable himself to cut through Kaido's tough hide. But it wasn't really a cut, but it was more like internal damage. So like going back to the Flash example, the Flash could actually do that to somebody as well. It was actually Professor Zoom, I think, who did it first, where he vibrated his hand and he was able to pass through somebody and kill them. So yeah. So yeah. So far, Kaido has just been taking L after L after L. And then Big Mom with an Indra attack, lightning attack, strikes Killer, and then Killer goes down. And then Big Mom is just out there in the heavens, just screaming out, just spamming lightning like nobody's business. And then as Kaido is about to munch on Killer, Luffy goes and attacks Kaido again. Kaido, his eyes go white again. And then, but Kaido's not affected. He turns around, uses his heat breath, but then Zoro, tells Law. The comedy was actually pretty funny in this chapter, even though it was just this one little series of panels. It was pretty funny, like how Law mentions, "You ingrates are testing my patience. I'm not your damn babysitter." And it just shambles Zoro where Kaido's blast was gonna attack, and then slash, blast breath, and then flame slice by Zoro just cuts the fire breath in half. Man, Zoro was just going lit. But I don't know, did he because after the slash, he somehow kept on going higher. So who knows? Zoro has a skywalk question. Question. Zoro has skywalk question mark. But then we go on to the next panel, where Kaido is visibly shook. And then Big Mom is visibly shook. Big Mom tells Kaido to dodge. Like, Kaido has just been tanking all these attacks, and Big Mom hasn't said anything. And then suddenly, Big Mom just shouts out, "Kaido, dodge!" And then I think Big Mom probably does have a future sight of some kind, or definitely observation argument, but maybe future sight, because she was able to see what could have happened if Zoro got an attack on Kaido. And so I think probably Kaido doesn't really have future sight, because he was like, "Wait, what? I sensed something," but he didn't move immediately. And then Zoro comes in with the flying dragon blaze, and that attack cuts off one of the horns on Onigashima. I'm gonna be real with you. I almost screamed to the top of my lungs at that, because I was like, "What is this?" So like saying that Zoro cut one of Kaido's horns? But then, man, he dodged it. He dodged it. And then Kaido mentions, like, why is Odin's aura emanating from that sword? Which brings about a very interesting question. And I'm pretty sure a lot of YouTubers are going to theorize about this, because the one unique thing about Odin's sword is that its ability to absorb people's haki. That's why Odin was able to utilize the sword efficiently, because perhaps he had like an excess volume of haki. Like how back in Naruto has a lot of chakra. So perhaps Odin has a lot of, ryo or haki, depending what terms you like to use. But that begs the question, like, about how black blades are formed. This is like a very interesting point that I had to think about quite a lot, because I think after the attack that Zoro performed, Zoro was he was wheezing, he was out of breath, because perhaps he used too much of the haki. Because in the previous chapter, when he sent an attack to Kaido, which just injured him a little bit but didn't cut him, it just showed like a rope line, a rope mark on Kaido's neck, but didn't really cut him. And then he just looked at the sword like, "Hey, perhaps I didn't use enough power." So despite the 2 weeks, Zoro is still learning how to maximize the power in maximize the power of Odin's sword. It's sort of like, how do I describe this properly for people to understand? There's a point in time, like I'll have to use like some engineering terms, right? When you're separating one thing from another, so when you're separating two liquids from another, there's a certain point that is reached. That point allows, that point where at the perfect temperature and the perfect pressure, it allows things to separate. But but if you use too much pressure and not enough temperature is used, that means you're using up more energy than is required to separate the two liquids from each other. Or you're raising the temperature too high, you're using too much energy to raise the temperature too high, but you're not changing the pressure at all. That means you're using too much energy to separate the two liquids. That's how I visualize the back and forth between Odin's sword and Zoro's haki. Zoro is trying to find the perfect balance to which he can utilize the maximum amount of energy from that sword, boiled from that sword without losing too much haki from himself. And that begs the question, just how much haki did Odin have? Because he looked like he was just slicing and dicing without any single problem. And that begs the question, what if the Odin sword is still, because kind of mentioned something about Odin's aura still being within that sword. What if Odin's will is still sort of within that sword? So the sword is still used to Odin's power. It's still used to taking up as much haki as possible from Odin. By that I mean taking a large amount of haki in comparison to Zoro, while in comparison to Odin, Odin thought nothing of it. He thought it was just a small amount of haki being taken away by the sword. But to Zoro, that's a large amount of haki. So this just puts more hype onto how strong Odin was. Even in the flashback, even though we didn't see too much of a scuffle back and forth between him and Roger, despite Roger's named attack, Odin just popped right back up. So this is giving more emphasis to how strong Odin is and how strong of a power up Enma is to Zoro. And since the sword's ability to take in haki, I think that's how the black blades are made. Being able to take in haki constantly over a long period of time allows the sword to take on the characteristics of its owner. So eventually, Zoro is definitely going to turn Enma into a black blade if he decides to keep it, or if he decides to, get back sushi. The black blade. Pardon my pronunciation. I have just a few allergies that I'm dealing with, so excuse me. So then, enough of the sword analysis. But yeah, perhaps I could make a video out of this later on as soon as I learn how to use Adobe Premiere properly. So yeah, once again, sorry, my next videos are going to be a lot better than they are now. So moving on, we have Zoro falling, and then a bolt of lightning just smacks him. And once again, it's Big Mom. Big Mom is just out here on top of a cloud, just spamming lightning blades everywhere. And I think the attack was called Heavenly Dominion, Shiva's Wrath. So not only does Big Mom have extreme durability, right? Never been scarred in her life, except when Mother Carmel's photo was broken. Excellent speed, good observation haki, quick thinking. Like, my top 30 list might have been wrong, because Big Mom is out here, fam. And all the range of attacks that she's capable of. She can use a sword efficiently. What else can she do? She has a variety of flame attacks, lightning attacks, and incredible speed, incredible haki. Conqueror's haki is just wow. And not only that, to add to the lightning attacks, those lightning attacks are like homing missiles, because those lightning attacks followed Law, followed Kid to where they were. They couldn't escape it. But when the attack hit Luffy, well, we all know back in Skypiea when Luffy was facing Enel, Luffy is impervious to lightning because he is rubber. But after that, we get a fire breath from Kaido. And man, Kaido, Dragon Form Kaido is definitely the weakest version of Kaido. But anyway, Luffy gets attacked by the Dragon Breath. He tanks it like a G. Like always, he bounces back, no problem, and uses Kong Gatling. And that's the end of the chapter. So far, what we've learned from this chapter is it's definitely an 11 out of 10. Excellent chapter. This is extreme fire. We learned that we need more respect on Killer's name. His ability to just harm Kaido is props enough. And that begs the question. A lot of people were like wondering, how will Kaido ever be hurt because of his intense durability? There's definitely a lot of people in the verse that have unique abilities that bypass extreme durability. So Killer's definitely one of them. And who knows? I think that's why he was able to sense Apu quite so fast, because Apu uses sound attacks. So he uses people's ability to listen against them, people's hearing against them. So that's why Killer was able to notice immediately. He was the first one. So yeah, more respect on Killer's name. Definitely a lot more respect. Zoro, oh my god. Zoro is definitely right up. He's definitely gonna injure Kaido. Without a shadow of a doubt, he's gonna injure Kaido. He's gonna cut off one horn. He's gonna reopen Odin's Scar. Who else? Law is definitely gonna be an important factor in this fight, because his Gamma Knife was definitely able to injure Kaido pretty easily. And his ability to just jump in and out of attacks. The only problem is going to be Big Mom's Heavenly Dominion Shiva's Wrath, because that's like a homing lightning attack. So a homing missile following you wherever you go. Because the lightning is technically alive. So yeah. One question that I have is like, how was Kid able to injure Kaido? Because that's just a normal ordinary slam. That's it. That shouldn't hurt Kaido at all. But anyway, this chapter is going to be full of theories from the One Piece community, full of people saying I told you so, people saying all kinds of nonsense. But all in all, everybody that's on the roof should be on the roof because of how strong they are, their abilities, their strengths, their high ceilings. In fact, they're even above the high ceiling. They're on the roof, fam. But man, MVP of this chapter, actually two people get the MVP, Zoro and Big Mom. Big Mom wasn't even touched this whole chapter. Well, she wasn't attacked at all because she was right up there in the clouds. Nobody can reach her except Luffy and Law, probably. Yeah. But anyway, she was out here. And Kaido should change back to his human form because his dragon form is basically a big punching bag. He can't do anything. All he does is wind blast, heat blast, and there's people who can counteract those attacks. So yeah. Dragon Kaido is a massive L. He should definitely go back to his human form, get pushed there, and then turn into his hybrid form. But I think this chapter, what Oda was trying to do was to illustrate that everybody there who's on the roof can injure Kaido. He's just flexing for them. I think the next chapter, we're going to see, a little turnaround, a flip of the script. We're going to see how Kaido, realizes that dragon form is useless. He's going to become his human form again and he's going to attack like that. Either that or they're going to transition to the fights that are happening underneath the roof because they don't matter. But they do. But they don't matter at all because they're not on the roof. But anyway, this chapter has been full of theories. I'm definitely going to do a Reddit review tomorrow. I'm just going to review all the Reddit, the One Piece Reddit page. And I'm going to make it a weekly thing. After the chapter, the day after the chapter, I'm going to go through it. Hopefully no one's going to post panels because I don't want to get a copyright strike. If I do, if I do see a panel, I'm just going to cover it up. But anyway, I'm going to try and bring out more content about anime that I actually enjoy, that I'm passionate about, like Ace of Diamonds. I'm going to start doing a draft. I'm gonna start making an ultimate team, and I'm gonna post it on Twitter. I'm gonna see what people think about my One Piece, sorry, my Diamond Ace Ultimate Team, because I really enjoy that manga, and I would definitely recommend that if you have nothing else to do. In fact, even if you have something to do, watch it. You won't regret it. But anyway, it's been Ray T Dragon. Thank you for taking the time to show up, and peace.